Hey, it's Matt Roush,
Oh, caught me reading there. And Mike Brennan.
and we're back with another segment of the M Squared TechCast. We have with us our friend today, Tamara Shoemaker, and she's going to talk all about the Cyber Patriot program. Yeah, let's have at it.
I have a couple of things to talk about today. One is the NGA grant program that I've been working on all summer and fall. And that's at the state level. The state applied for and got a grant with NGA, which is the National Governors Association. And we're working on a project all summer and fall to do three things. One, to secure Michigan schools. The second one is to make sure that the K through 12 teachers have all the curriculum that they need to teach cybersecurity in K through 12. And then the third pillar is to build future cybersecurity leaders and what that looks like and what they might need to be able to do those three things. And so we were real fortunate because this was a group of people that came from all of the stovepipes that normally would be working on these kinds of projects alone, and we're all working together. So there was the DTMB, the technical department at the state level. We had the Michigan Department of Education. We had Michigan Economic Department. We had LEO, Labor and Development. So it was the National Guard, Michigan State Police, and then us educators that were all involved in this. So it was a really great time to all get together and do all of this virtually over the summer and fall.
All right, so you're getting some committees together, right? Talk about those committees.
Right. So we had those three levels. So securing the schools, and that was one committee, and I wasn't on that one. I don't have the technical chops to do that one. So there were some really cool people that were on that one. There was a committee for getting together the cybersecurity curriculum, and I was on that one. And I was on the building the future leaders. And so the work that I've been doing on the Cyber Patriot thing sort of gave me an entree into being able to be one of their subject matter experts in this thing, because for the last 6 years, I've been working across the state trying to get our teachers and our schools to get involved in the cybersecurity competitions. And I sort of think of that as kind of the gateway into cybersecurity education, right? So they start to teach it after school and they start to compete and people start to get interested. And then you start kind of backfilling with more information, more curriculum, more of that. But at the state level, what we're trying to do is make sure that they have those resources available. So we put together a whole database of curriculum resources to try to help supplement the things that teachers have to try to do on their own.
I like to assume. Sorry, man. I like to assume that people don't know our guests or their guest background. So why don't we stop right here and explain what Cyber Patriot is, and then we'll go on from there.
So I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I am the center director at the University of Detroit Mercy. And as that, we put together a coalition of community colleges and universities across the state that are all centers of excellence. And one of the missions that we have is to make sure that we reach back into K through 12 education and make sure we bring those kids up. We were also finding that we just were not having enough pool of kids coming into the system for cybersecurity. And so it was another really great way to be able to do that. And so this Cyber Patriot is a national competition that's done from October until April. And it is about securing a network, securing your operating systems, and good ethical behaviors in cybersecurity. And at the end, it really just gives them a really good awareness training for cybersecurity so that they can keep themselves safe while online.
And I'm sorry, but just one last thing. There's a gazillion jobs out there for cybersecurity folks, right? I mean, that's really what it's about. I lost track of the numbers, hundreds of thousands, a million.
Right.
Perhaps?
So there's usually, the number is between 400,000 and 700,000, always at one point in time, depending on what's going on. And of course, unless we completely let our infrastructure die, that's only going to grow. Right. So they're having a very difficult time placing those people. And so part of the problem that we have at the university level is getting enough information into them fast enough and getting them out onto the workforce. And so if we can get them to start in the grade school and in high school, and then they come to us a little bit more of a finished product, we can then finish that off and then send them out to the workforce a lot more quickly and a lot more educated than if we had to continue to only do that at the level of college and university.
All right, so you've had these committees at work developing these things, securing Michigan schools, developing a curriculum. What are some of the things the committee discovered about the cybersecurity environment in education?
Well, it's kind of a wasteland out there, right? It's not quite as it's not quite as developed as we thought, and as they thought, I think, to be honest with you, because I've been working in this space for quite some time, and my husband's been writing a ton of books in this area, and we've been working with the NIST framework with the national
Mhm.
security standards people at the federal level, and we sort of know that there's a lot of stuff missing. In fact, at the college level, university level, we only got a standard or guideline, sorry, a couple of years ago that actually said defined what the career was and what needs to be taught. And so, of course, the stuff that's available for K through 12 is hard to find, right? And so most of the things that we did find were one-off. So it was like a course that you could use, but not a whole curriculum, right? Not a start to finish product. Some people have been out there doing an amazing job for a really long time, like Cisco, with its Net Academy and all that kind of stuff for NetSec. So they've been doing this for years and years, but there's not a real clear pathway. And that's part of what we are trying to make sure that we help them do is look at all the stuff that's available, make sure that it's truly righteous stuff, and then make it available to everybody. It's also a national imperative. So the national group is also working on it. Now they've got many, many more results than we did, but we wanted to make sure that when we put this through, that we've actually vetted all of them and that it was a clear cybersecurity product that was easy to get. You know, the other thing is that the digital divide hasn't gone away, right? So, I mean, it's still alive and well, right? And that's a problem. So the digital divide of, people having access to the internet, access to PCs, all that kind of stuff, that's another thing that's wrong. So we have stuff that's out there, but it's not necessarily going to be able to be accessed on, sometimes a lot of kids have got Chromebooks now. A lot of schools have gone through Chromebooks. But some of these exercises and courses and things that they've got aren't compatible with that. So that leaves that hole there too. So trying to find these resources and putting them all together and organizing them in a manner that teachers can pick up and run with has been a challenge. We've been in 3 and 4 meetings a week over this.
Well,
Go ahead,
the folks at Connected Nation Michigan have some really interesting maps on their website about broadband availability. And once you get past like 25 meg connections, there's a lot of gaps in Michigan's coverage. There's a lot of people that can only get a 10 meg connection, and that's the best they can get. So some of this stuff has to be sort of pared down in terms of the volume and the resources to be really usable by these people in certain urban and many rural areas.
Correct.
So that's the
and it's a big problem that's not going away. I mean, and that's one of the things. So I deal with all of the teachers across the state, right, with the Cyber Patriot thing. And, I knew to sort of brace myself that we were not going to get huge growth this year, that we would be lucky if we just sort of maintained. And we've done that just because it's such a huge undertaking for our teachers right now to do online classes, blended method classes. One day it's online, someday it's in person, all the things that they're having to deal with, and the digital divide of the students, right? Being able to does mom have a computer? And does she have to work and use that computer? And also, the kid has to go to school as well and all of that kind of good stuff. And then when you get into, like you said, actual internet access and the speed to doing these kinds of things that we're doing right now, it takes an awful lot of bandwidth. And so not everybody has that access. And so these are all things that are all happening kind of simultaneously. So I think the thing that does my heart good was that so many of the stovepipe departments in the state are involved in this program right now and are clearly putting a lot of effort into it and working together on this. And so that made a huge difference to me and sort of being able to give up 3 and 4 days a week in meetings made a sense to me, as long as it was everybody working real hard at this thing together. Because if we can't change how it's going to, how things are going to be dealt with in the future.
And how does a school that is not already participate? So
we're having some webinars. So upcoming. So there'll be an outwardly facing website soon that'll have all these resources on it. And they can get involved more, because one of the other things that we found were the teachers and the IT folks needed extra training, right? And so that needs to happen as well. So we can't expect our poor IT teachers, who sometimes are the social studies teacher, and that was their first love, and they got kind of roped into being the IT teacher, just sort of here's a bunch of cybersecurity curriculum, take it. away. That necessarily isn't necessarily going to happen, right? So we got to get those guys the resources they need. So there'll be an out web face, but in between that, we have a really cool webinar series for the month of November. So for 3 weeks during the month of November, we're going to be getting together with folks that have an vested interest in this, so they can take a look at what we've done, and they can help us maybe take the next steps and give us critiques. And, from boots on the ground, we want to hear the feedback about the work that we did. We don't want to do this in kind of stovepipe again. We don't want to do this. That, so that we're not getting any coverage and stuff. So we have those meetings that we can, that they can take part in. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk with you guys while I had the time was the Cyber Patriot. We did get folks to sign up again. We have 40 cities.
That's really great.
It's I'm amazed because of what the teachers have been telling me about what their day looks like. I can't believe they're going to do this after school program still, and they are. So I've got 40 cities that need mentors, and I could really use the help from the professionals that are online, that listen to MTech News and that read your newsletter and all of that to give some of their time. Now is a better time than any because we are so virtual now. So you really don't have to worry about driving to a high school or middle school and coaching these kids. You can just do it virtually. So if you go to our website, it's MICyberPatriot.com, and reach out. I can partner you up with the school. And again, it's whatever time you have to spend. If you only have 1 hour a month, great. If you have 1 hour a week, better. But whatever you want to put into this is going to make a huge difference in these kids' lives, because they can see themselves in these jobs if they can talk to real people who are really doing these jobs and work through these problems and learn more about cybersecurity. We need them to learn this. They're going to be protecting our infrastructure. And so without them, we're going to be lost.
And in some way, this could be a recruitment tool, could it not?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole try it before you buy. I talk about that all the time, right? If you've got these kids and they're working with you, for instance, I've got some folks that are down at GE, right? So that work as mentors and coaches, and they're seeing what the culture at GE looks like. That looks like some people work distantly, some people work from the office. They see what the problems are and all of that because they're working side by side with them, and they're sharing their work days and that kind of thing as mentors and as coaches. And that of course, they start to say, oh, that looks like a really great place to work. I like that environment. I like the kind of things that this guy's talking about. And so, yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. Again, they have to see that, right? These kids have to see that pathway, and we're there to lead them that way.
All right, we got about a minute left. So once again, tell folks how they can reach out to you.
So again, it's MICyberPatriot.com is my website. And like I said, right now is the time to act. Our registration is all done. The first round of competition starts November 12th through the 15th. But again, these teachers need your help. And so anytime you want to volunteer, you just let us know, and then we'll match you up with these cities that I have. Can I read them off, or do I have enough time?
Is Fred standing by?
I tell you what, we'll put them up. We'll put them up on our respective websites.
Perfect.
I've been taking notes as you've been talking here. I'm going to turn this into a news story for my website, and Mike will pick it up on MITechNews.com too, I'm sure.
Wonderful.
And so we'll try to get the word out through our two websites. Just a little bit of background. How long has the Cyber Patriot? How long has this competition been going on?
So this is the 13th season, 13 years.
Okay. Wow.
And it's actually international, but I'm only concerned about the national one because, that's where we live.
And since fair is fair, I talk about LTU all the time. Tell me your official capacity at U of D also.
So I am the center director for the Cybersecurity and Intelligence Studies Center. And like I said, part of that is doing the outreach into the high school and working with the Cyber Patriot in K through 12. So I'm pretty excited about that work. Thank you.
Yeah, we're approaching cybersecurity a little bit differently at LTU. We're now developing a big computer lab in our business college, actually. So it's going to be cybersecurity through the lens of a business college, which is how some places do it.
Oh, that's exactly how we started.
Yeah, it's really interesting because at some places it comes out of the mathematics department,
Yep.
at other places it comes out of engineering, and some places it comes out of business. So
Yep. Now, ours is out of the business school as well as a business from top down looking at it, not from the machine up. We have 13 centers across the state, though, so we're pretty fortunate. Michigan is really in this game, and so we're fortunate to have as many resources as we do. Thank you.
Additional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.